All right, welcome to episode 11 of Bazooka Kickboxing series. We're finally where we can use our kicks and our knees in the series, and today's going to be about the knee, and we're going to really work on our rear knee. It's the first knee that I like to work on when teaching, which I like to teach the knee before the kick because it's a little bit more beginner and easier to throw, and it teaches you how to use your calves and to control your hips. So this is why it is a good reason to start with the knee before the round kick. So let's start. At this point, we know everything about technically keeping our hands. So for our knee, it's very important that our step is on point. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a side view because it's easier. So when we step, I'm going to make sure we're on the ball of the foot when throwing this knee, and I'm going to lengthen my stance. Lengthening the stance is loading up the knee. This way I have more range and more distance to throw, which is more power. These inside knees are good, but ultimately we're looking at lots of power, and this is why we step. Now, the key to the knee, when I step, I need to stay off the heel, and hopefully you can see this in the video. I want you on the ball of the foot. So when you're on the ball of the foot, you can knee straight and come back. The reason why you get up on that heel is because it acts as a counterbalance. If I'm flat on my foot and I'm trying to knee forward, what's going to happen is it's going to be hard for me to control and bring my foot back. So by going on the calf, you're able to control the positioning, be able to knee and come back. Now, you're going to see my hand position, and when doing this, I'm going to do partner drilling with Matt, and you're going to see why I put my hands here. So when I knee, as I step, my hands are coming out. And as my hands come out, what it's doing is it's basically blocking off my opponent's punches. So if he's trying to punch, I'm blocking the punches, and that's my enter. A lot of people like to keep the hands out and put their knee to the hip, so I get both hands out, both hands to my right hip. This way it's really forcing me to use my hip and extend and get my knee going forward. Okay, the other thing I'm going to mention, this is a straight knee. So I'm looking at bringing my flight path straight, just like a straight punch, just like a jab. We're keeping it very clean and very basic. Yes, we'll discuss the round knees a little later, but this is a nice solid straight line knee. So step, and you can see my knee almost rubs my other knee. So it keeps the line nice and straight. The last point is where you want to hit. If I'm hitting straight and I'm looking at hitting the body, it's very important I get up on this heel. If I'm looking at kneeing up to the head, that is when I look to plant my heel on the floor. So I'm going to give you the difference. Knee and back. When I step, you can see the flight path coming up. So now it's coming up compared to when I'm on the ball of my foot, it comes forward. So knee to the head, knee to the body, keeping it nice and in line. So the last point I'm going to make is what you do with that knee position, with the leg that's kneeing. I want to make sure when you're kneeing, you have your heel tucked to your butt, and that's going to make it more of a sharp knee. So if I'm kneeing this way, you can see it's not as sharp. I want to hit with a nice strong point, like I'm using a sword or a knife. So when I tuck my heel to my butt, it makes it sharp. So this is the wrong way where I'm not tucking it, and this is more of that sharp knee when I tuck my knee compared to leaving it out. And that's when a lot of times I see people knee, and that's when you get those low blow shots. So to make that knee sharp, tuck your heel to your butt, get on that calf. There you have it, nice sharp long knees. Okay, so we're going to do our first drill here with Matt. I'm going to use the micro mitts again. Why I like using the micro mitts, it's because they can't overpower the knee, which forces them to control it. When you use the tie pads, which we'll be using next, it's easy for someone to really use that rebound to set their position back. By using these, Matt has to be so precise and so sharp with his footwork that he's able to control his balance. So let's going to start. I'm only going to use one hand right now, and he's going to really focus on all those technical tips. Watch for him stepping on the foot, heel tucked to his butt, so it's a nice sharp knee. And I want to see him use his hands now. Steps out and pulls in. Okay, I can change it to the head where Now he's more planted and the angle of the knee comes up, and more forward knees. So I'm adjusting different heights, different ways for him to throw it. Okay, so the next part of this drill, I'm going to take it into more of an intermediate style drill. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix them with our punches. And this way, it shows flow. And it's a good way to set up your knees or with your boxing. So Matt and I are just going to flow a little bit with boxing to knees. And you're going to notice it's important to also punch after your knee. The knee doesn't necessarily mean the end of the combination. You might use it as a setup midway, and then he's going to follow hands. So we're going to show different ways. The most simple jab, I have a hook knee. I can do same side, put it together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Uppercut. Three. Hook knee. Hook knee. 1, 2. Good. 1, 2, knee, hook cross. There you have it, some flow with boxing before the knee and after the knee. All right, so now we have Matt with the Thai pads. This is the more traditional way you're gonna use your knees with the pad holder. So there's two different ways we're going to discuss holding before we do it. One is one on top of the other. This way is a little bit easier. Matt's going to show this way. It's a little bit easier because it's a big target, and whether I throw a right knee or a left knee, it doesn't matter, so it's easiest. So from here, working my step and just landing some knees on the outside. It's also important that when I teach knees and kicking, that we also switch stances. I'm a big believer recently in my martial arts journey that I want my guys to be able to fight both sides a little bit more from the beginner side. So I'm just going to go into my southpaw and throw some power rear knees at the same time. This way we can be functional and be able to throw power knees from both sides. The other way you can hold now, I'm going to go back to the right knee, is having one hand in front. This makes it a little bit more of a smaller target, but same idea. You can mix it in. Hand positioning. Sometimes I'll throw with my hands tight, so I mix which position I want to throw. So now a little bit more, we just showed boxing to knees. Now we're going to just do some kicks to knees. Matt's going to throw, let's go on this side for it. Right or left kicks is going to be kick, knee kicks, whatever Matt's going to do, we're just going to flow off of it. One of my favorite ways of teaching any combination that you've seen through the series, using partner drilling. And partner drilling doesn't always have to be in a sparring situation where we're going hard. Being able to control your technique is a very important skill, and the knee is the perfect time to use control, because we all know those people who we spar with who overthrow their knees and hurt their sparring partners. So knees are very dangerous to throw in sparring. So learning to control them in our drilling is very important in all strikes. So Matt and I are just going to do some combo back exchanging, using our punches or knees, whatever our favorite ways are, setting up and landing the knees. As you can see what I was talking about in the beginning, when I go to knee, I'm putting my hands on top of Matt. So this way, if Matt tries to punch, I can control his hands. So this is why I like to get my hands out. I could knee. It also shows I can knee in a clinch, but there's so many different ways to land it. Let's flow. All right, the wrecking ball, traditionally used more for a boxing technique, but it's the perfect bag to use more of those knee to the head style. So for me, I'm just gonna mix in some body kicking, mix with knees and boxing, some different flows. Okay, so the first drill Matt's gonna do on the long bag is he's gonna have the bag moving. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna try to time his knee as the bag comes in, because to land a good knee takes good timing. So Matt's using and simulating when his opponent comes in, whether it's with boxing, whether it's trying to initiate a clinch, Matt's gonna use his straight knee. That's your basic timing. Now after that knee, Matt is just gonna flow and he can throw anything he wants and let him have his fun on the bag, focusing on that power knee. Since he's a southpaw, it's his left knee. Okay, let's run through some common mistakes. The first common mistake people are gonna make is when they step, they're not having their heel off the ground, and that's not counterbalancing their weight. So you're gonna see a lot of knee and fall forward, which is you want control. So be able to knee and bring it back. All starts with you stepping on the ball of the foot and keeping your heel off the ground. Second mistake when people are gonna make, and this angle will show it, they knee round all the time. Yes, there's a round knee, but you need a straight knee as well. So yes, have round knees and have straight knees, but this series is straight knees. So when you're throwing the straight knee, make sure your knees are rubbing close together. Third mistake, not having that heel. So make sure when you do knee, it makes it nice and sharp. You get your heel to your butt in return. The fourth thing I'm gonna discuss is the hand position. One of my most frustrating things when I see people throw their hands is they throw the hands double on the hip. Make sure your hands come out. Remember, as we talked about, they're blocking punches and your hands are coming over. See how I'm still defending my head? I'm not sitting there. It's a close range shot. To do this in mid-range when someone's boxing is a big mistake. So make sure your hands are up. And that's mistake number 4. There you have it, episode 11, the rear straight knee. Very important to think about those mistakes because they happen a lot. Make sure, again, you're keeping all those 4 mistakes out of that knee because I see it way too often. So work on that step. And as I said from episode 1, stepping is one of the most important aspects in all of the strikes, and especially with the knee. Next episode, we're going to discuss the lead knee, which is a little bit different now because you're going to have to add switches or steps, but a lot of same concepts, a lot of same errors people make, and that's episode 12 next week. Hope you're enjoying the series. Hope you're enjoying all the other videos that we're posting. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep enjoying the technical series.